Bienvenidos a EsperanzaVence, donde la Esperanza vence. Welcome to EsperanzaVence, where hope wins. Alrighty, Aphrodite, right? Venus is at home in Taurus. The moon is in Virgo for most of the day today, till it goes void of course in the afternoon around 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So, most of the day should be good for organizing, cleaning. If you want to get around to that equinox spring cleaning, wow, what a great day to do that, huh? And beautifying your space too with the Venus in Taurus. Oop. Don't forget to light some incense while you clean, or you know, maybe a little candle or something. Add a little romance to the scene. We have Eight of Swords reversed, which is an awesome card to see in reverse. If you want to go ahead and check the live stream that I posted yesterday, it's messy, but it's authentic. And you can learn more about what Eight of Swords upright energy is all about, which is usually literally hemming ourselves in, putting ourselves in our own mental jail, right? But with Eight of Swords reversed, we're able to get a hold of that stinking thinking, turn that, I mean, we might still have a frown, but we can turn our thoughts around. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to feel good to get stuff done. You can think differently and get yourself through the day type stuff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes things just don't make sense, and sometimes decisions are hard to make, and sometimes logic is tough to come by. You know it. Alrighty then, friends. Thank you so much for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me, and thank you so much for everyone who has been supporting EsperanzaVence Tarot YouTube channel. That is so appreciated, because it lets me know that not to give up, to keep singing my heart song, as our dear friend Randy says. And I'd also like to thank everybody who's been booking their $22 readings. Today's the last day, so if you'd like to take advantage of that spring special sale, well, why don't you take that Virgo moon and get organized and go ahead and book you a reading, and we'll talk. For now, let's pray over these cards and we'll play Quick Hits Tarot. March 2026. Near past, present tense, near future. Here we are. Here we are. We're about to take the leap into April Fool's Day tomorrow. Tomorrow's also Passover. We got Four of Swords. We got the Tower reversed. And we have the Moon. Well, that seems fitting because obviously we have the full moon incoming, the Libra full moon, which I had already mentioned, but I'll mention again if you want to click on the live stream. I did a 10-card Celtic cross for the Libra full moon, and also our dear Raffi Night's Light on YouTube and I did a collaboration over the astrology of the full moon in Libra a couple of days ago. So go ahead and click on those live streams if you want to just get all the tea and grab your popcorn, because you're going to need it. So I think that's what's representing this moon, but we'll get back to it. Four of Swords represents a time, okay, so after we might have been like mentally caged in, and then we made that turnaround and realized like, okay, this would be a better way for me to set myself up mentally. This would be a better way for me to set myself up logically. This would be a better way for me to set myself up logistically. Let me try something just a little different. Let me get out of my rut. Let me go, like I said in my live stream yesterday, I went in and took a walk to go pick up my lunch instead of driving, you know? And to be honest, it wasn't a very pleasant walk. I mean, there was like a lot of construction, like, I don't know, it's just not, life is not walker friendly in the United States, but it did get me out of my rut, and it did get me in the rhythm of my body and the concrete. and it got my thoughts a chance to just run in the back of my head without like devices in front of me or having to answer someone or answer this or answer that. So wherever you can squeeze in that little, you know, half hour to an hour of your day, like of errands that you would run, quick, go, you know, maybe just go about it a different way, and it might open up your thought process, which could also open up your flow a little bit. After getting that in order, we have the Four of Swords, which thankfully gives us a chance to rest. So maybe now that Venus is back home in Taurus, she can chill a little bit, and all of us can just take a breather for a second. Maybe this full moon would be a good time to take a breather. You know, speaking of, maybe I will take a breather during the full moon. Maybe, yeah, we'll see, to be announced. But Four of Swords is the time where we can put our thoughts to rest. Four of Swords is, like, for me, the only chill swords card in the tarot. All of the other swords are pretty active, you know? The Ace of Swords, you got to grab hold of it and, you know, alchemize and use that in your magic stew. You know what I mean? You got to cut through the air with it. Like, you got to be active. But this is the time where the knight comes back from battle, or where they're preparing to go into battle. This could be the preparation for battle, actually, it being Aries season and all. You let me know how that Four of Swords is turning up in your life. Like, do you need a little bit more rest and recuperation? Do you need to get yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically prepared for anything in life? I do. With the Tower reversed, I think that this has to do with our common energies that we're all dealing with, because of course I'm not just reading these cards for you and me and whoever shows up here. Maybe somebody clicks on the video and they've never been to EsperanzaVence Tarot before, and if not, welcome, thank you, bienvenidos. I hope you're here and I hope you're learning. With the Tower reversed, the Tower card is always upsets, surprises, shakeups, and recalibrations. This is, you know, the kings and queens getting shook off from their ivory towers, literally and figuratively. But with the Tower reversed, this is kind of stuff that we saw coming. Tower has this surprise element to it. You see the lightning bolts just striking. Lightning can strike, you know, really. There are conditions, though, that lead up to the lightning striking. The lightning doesn't strike just willy-nilly out of nowhere. There has to be specific conditions that have led up to this storm. And if there were any specific conditions that we knew were coming, well, maybe today we could keep our eyes peeled for any sort of wrapping up and culmination of those events. Also, Uranus is right around 28 degrees of Taurus, and it doesn't go to 29 degrees until the 6th. So there could be some surprising turnarounds in terms of just earthly energy. Maybe our finances, maybe we could get some surprise just shakeups and events that make us need to move our tush a little bit. And then with the moon, like I said, I do think that this represents the Libra full moon incoming. The moon card is a card, to me, and there's been a lot of talk about the moon card lately, which I really love. Our dear friend Merlin did a bit about it on his channel. I saw Mario Garza from Symbolic Studies did some videos on the moon card, because we were in heavy Pisces energy there for a very long time, and you know, Mars and Mercury are still just kind of making the rest of their way through. The North Node is still in Pisces, and they tend to believe that the Pisces card represents the moon. I associate the moon card with the Cancerian zodiac, because the moon is the ruler of that sign in the zodiac. And also this card to me is more Cancerian energy. First of all, we have like this little crab, lobster, kind of prawn, kind of langostino. En español se llama langostino. Ese langostino que se da ick. He gives me the ick. But he's crawling up from the depths, right? Or crawling up from the shores, and he's about to pinch somebody in the tush if they get too hypnotized by the moonbeams, right? So the moon is an interesting thing. Oh, another thing that I heard Jimmy from the Tarot Ship with Jimmy, he said this the other day in his live stream. You should check it out. I love what he said. He said that the moon and the sun are the only luminaries where you can actually feel the light on your skin. And especially with the moon, since it's reflecting the light of the sun is like the great giver. The sun is the father's sun, mother moon, okay? And the moon is reflective of the sun's light, and the moon gives off that gentle whisper on your skin, and it can be very hypnotizing because at night you can't see clearly. Even in a full moon, the light is not bright enough for you to see the fine print, for you to read the fine print, okay? So you got to trust your intuition through the darkness. The light of the moon can guide the way, but you got to let your heart guide you, you got to let your intuition guide you, and you got to understand the two elements of your own psyche. You got to understand your wild side and your domesticated side. You got to understand Romulus and Remus. You got to understand like what forms creation. You got to understand like what is hidden between the two pillars of knowledge of Boaz and Joachim. What esoteric knowledge is hidden and occulted. The moon is a very occult symbol. The full moon represents a culmination of events, coming to a graduation process, and you can learn more about full moon energy and Libra energy in that live stream, so I'll leave it at that. Stay tuned for the astrology of today. Oh, hold on, just one hot minute. Let's pull us a synchronicity card just for today. Let's take this one. The Artist. I love it. Be creative, people, please and thank you. And when you are creative, please comment below and let me know so that I can watch your video and leave some heart emojis, okay? I love you. Oopsies. Let me set that there for a second. Mercury and Jupiter are still having their big conversation, amplifying talks, amplifying even very emotionally charged conversations, if you will. The sun is moving into a square with Jupiter, so that's that sort of fire and water element, you know what I mean? That can be a little bit clunky. Obviously, we still have Saturn and Pluto working together, so that can strengthen us on a personal level. It can also bring up, on a mundane level, the police and like underground forces in technology kind of working together, that Pluto and Aquarius, Saturn and Aries. The Juno is in an out of sign trine with Uranus, and you know, there might be some surprising connections and alliances made in the actual real world, like right before things change and keep changing throughout the spring here, right? And then we see Mars and Pallas in an opposition with the moon and the part of fortune. And the way I see that is, you know, in the 12th house there, kind of like these underground, maybe covert military operations that are against or in opposition to the people, the moon, the people, actually people like you and me, and our ability to connect with our fortune in real world terms in Virgo, right? We want to give of service. We want to be of service. So that could be also pointing to the selective service or the drafting and stuff like that in mundane terms in our own lives. You know, our plans of action might be thwarting our ability to actually achieve real wealth. We might have some tension between what we want to do, what we wish to do, what our dreams are, and what we can actually accomplish in reality. So that's what I have for today. Hang in there. You know, these bigger transits denote bigger energies, and also we can pull those energies down and embody them in our day-to-day. So that's why we're here. Thank you for fine-tuning your free will and intuition with me. Don't forget, today is the last day to book the spring sale readings. Thank you.